Yo, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Absen dulu, siapa yang suka tinju? Ngomong soal tinju, ada seorang petarung Muslim yang taat dan sang juara, Bilal. Ia sekarang sedang bertarung melawan musuh yang paling berat dalam hidupnya. Ia bertarung melawan penyakit yang dialaminya. Penasaran kisahnya? Yuk, simak video berikut ini. It's intro dulu.
My name is Bilal. I'm a former two-time boxing world champion, and I had plans on, inshallah, fighting for another world title, but subhanallah, Allah has other plans for me.
Bili adalah seorang yang tidak asing lagi di layar, seorang petarung profesional Muslim dan sang juara. Dalam pertarungan, namun hari ini Bili menghadapi pertarungan seperti sebelumnya. Pertarungan yang mungkin terbesar dan terakhir. Sekarang mungkin Bili mengalami pertarungan terbesar. Bili akan menceritakan apa yang terjadi dan bagaimana semua ini dimulai.
I would say maybe a few months back, I was in the gym, and subhanallah, I was doing some body sparring with another brother by the name of Bilal, and he hit me with a couple of body shots. Then subhanallah, a few days later, I started to feel some serious abdomen pain. I was on all fours, on my knees, and I was begging for mercy. And in that moment, subhanallah, my brother Muhammad called me, my older brother, and he said to me, Bill, how you feeling? I said, MD, I'm not going to see tonight. I'm not well, man. So then he contacted a friend of his whose name was Dr. Pran. And when I spoke to Dr. Pran on the phone, I said, Dr. Pran, there's something in my stomach that's happening. So then they took me over to do a CT scan. And after the CT scan, I went out and I was dozed off again because of all the drugs that had been given me. He woke me up and he said, Billy, I don't want you to be alarmed, but we found cancer in your colon.
Dokter mengobati tumor Bili, namun mereka menyadari hal ini lebih buruk daripada apa yang diharapkan.
A new doctor appeared and his name was Dr. Abir. And he said, well, I need to do some research. He goes, but I want to talk to you a little bit about what you have. You have a very aggressive type of cancer called Hodgkin's lymphoma, and it's a blood cancer. And he said to me, if we don't act fast, you may not see the next 6 months.
Sebagai seorang petarung, Bili telah melalui ini semua. Dengan yang terakhir ditemani istrinya Sarah.
He goes, you're young and you're strong. These are all the things that I've heard already, because I always sat with Sarah when they said this same thing to her. They said to her that you're young, you're strong, you're fit, it'll be an uphill battle, but you get through it. So here I am, reliving everything she's gone through. I'm hearing the same things. It's like a protocol that they say. And so once he left the room, I sat on the bed and I said to my mom, I said, I don't want to die. I said, well, who's going to take my son to school, Mom? Who's going to be there for my son on the first day of school? Who's going to look after my son? No one's going to love my son like me. So obviously now my mind's in overdrive, thinking like, I don't know what to expect. I'm having endless anxiety attacks.
Dalam keadaan panik dan ketakutan, Bili cepat terburu-buru dalam komoterapi.
5 p.m. to 4 p.m. the following day, I took 23 hours straight of chemo. I never thought that I would experience the pain that I experienced through that. I felt like a freight train had hit me, and I felt like it hit me and then reversed over me and then come back over me. And I just had nothing.
Momen itu adalah pertarungan yang dimiliki Bili. Namun semua pintu mulai tertutup dan ada satu pintu yang masih terbuka.
What people need to understand is that through your journey of cancer and chemo, you need to look upon a higher power. For me, it was looking upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, call upon Allah. And that was the only thing that got me through, my trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in my will to win and to be there for my son. And even though I'm not out of the rut yet, I'm not. It was all from God. Because every time I called upon God, Allah helped me. That's the truth.
Momen itu adalah pertarungan besar untuk Bili dan salah satu hambatan yaitu menjalankannya. Apakah Allah telah menentukannya?
I never said, why did Allah give this to me? You know what I said? I said, why not me? Allah's given me everything already. Everything in my life that I ever asked for, Allah delivered me. Who am I to question what Allah's decreed for me? I'm not. And I don't have any fear anymore. I've faced the fear of the possibility of me dying. I've been accepting it for a long time. I've never questioned Allah
Are
subhanahu wa
you
ta'ala.
scared of dying?
No, I'm ready. I had a fear of being in the grave. I don't have that fear anymore. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decides to take me during this time, then that's Allah's will for me.
Sepanjang pertandingan, Bili juga berhasil fokus mungkin banyaknya berkah di balik penderitaannya.
I'm so grateful and humbled by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala choosing me to be that person who inspires people through this journey. I'm happy. Wallah, I'm happy. I'm actually happy. You know why? Because during the course of my life, I may have accumulated some sins, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is shedding me of them sins, and I'm grateful for that. I'm so grateful that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is cleansing me, and I feel that with the permission of Allah, if I get through this, I feel like a clean slate. Because this chemo, look at me. Look at me. I had hair. I used to love my hair. I loved my beard. It's all gone. I've been stripped down to the bone. And, you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has, if He allows me to get through this, and I've come through basically cleansed like a newborn, because this chemo strips you of everything good and bad. And so there's nothing bad in my body anymore. And there's nothing good in it either. But inshallah, I can rebuild it and put what I want in it, the goodness that I want to be in it, can be in it. That's what I want. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to give me a clean slate where I'm basically sinless. Alhamdulillah for everything.
Bili tetap bersyukur atas nikmat yang diberikan Allah kepadanya, terutama orang-orang di sekitarnya.
I put a post up of my mom. Through the vomiting, tantrums, the crying, she's remained so steadfast and so strong in her dua and her will to see me through this. Every single time I woke up in the hospital in a not so good way, in the middle of the night, Allah shahid alayhi, my mum was on the floor praying. Always in sujood, always holding the Quran throughout this whole journey. And that's been my mum since I've been a kid. My mum's been my real life superhero.
Dia tetap bersyukur atas semuanya. Ia menyadari bahwa kematian menantinya.
And maybe I might not make it out of this cancer. And maybe my son will watch this down the line. And if I'm speaking openly and looking into the camera, telling my son, Dad, I'm doing everything in my power to beat this cancer because I want to be there for you. Because I love you, you're the apple of my eye, you mean the world to me, and I don't want to leave you, Dad. One day there will come a time, Dad, where either you leave me or I'll leave you. But while I'm here, I want you to know that I love you very much and that I'm fighting extremely hard to be there for you.
What would you want him to grow up to be? What would you want him to grow up to learn from you?
The most important thing that I want is my son to be an educated human being. I want him to be somebody that has great humility. I want him to have a connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, when my son was born, I never cried, but I knew I had a sense of responsibility at that moment. And the first sense of responsibility that I thought was that I was gonna do everything in my power to learn how to read the Quran. And that's exactly what I did. And that's really important for me. And the reason why I did that was because I wanted to show my son that if Dad can do it at this age, you can do it when you're young, Dad.
A passionate and heartfelt reminder that Bili's not only focused on this life, but more importantly, the life.
How do you want to meet Allah?
I want to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the most beautiful of ways. I want Him to be pleased with me. And I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only takes me and those who I love around me at the time when Allah's pleased with them. That's the most important thing to me.
Kita meminta kepada Allah untuk membantunya dalam pertarungan. Semoga Allah memberikannya penyembuhan penuh. Ingatlah, rahmat Allah tak terbatas.